Did you know that in 1985, Michael Jackson bought the entire Beatles Masters catalog? Well, if you did, then let's fix that knowledge because it's not exactly true. In 1963, the Beatles manager Brian Epstein and music publisher Dick James created a company called Northern Songs to publish Lennon and McCartney's music. John and Paul each owned 15% of the company, Ringo and George had smaller shares, and then the rest was owned by Dick James and his partner, meaning the Beatles never controlled the majority of their own publishing. Now, to be clear, what this company owned was the publishing rights, not the masters themselves. Owning the publishing rights means you control how a song is used, so for example, covers, sheet music, and sync licenses, and you can earn money from mechanical and performance royalties. Owning the masters means you can control the actual recording, and you can earn money from streaming, licensing, and sales of that specific recording. So the Beatles would still earn songwriter royalties, but they didn't have control over how their recordings or songs were used. The music publisher Dick James eventually sold his shares of the company Northern Songs to ATV, Associated Television, without Lennon and McCartney's consent. Fast forward to 1985, and ATV put the catalog on sale yet again in order to liquidate some assets. And that's when Michael Jackson ended up buying the publishing rights for $47.5 million, outbidding Paul McCartney. Ironically, Paul McCartney was the one who originally taught MJ about the benefits of owning and publishing rights. And then I guess the student became the master because MJ turned around and beat Paul at his own game. And Michael Jackson / his estate really profited off of those publishing rights. Yeah, he licensed the Beatles songs here and there. Most notably, the song Revolution was licensed to Nike for a commercial that was pretty controversial at the time. But most of the profit came when Michael Jackson eventually sold his stake. So in 1995, MJ merged ATV with Sony's publishing division to form Sony / ATV Music Publishing, one of the biggest publishing companies in the world. This gave him a 50% stake in Sony ATV, a much larger catalog. 2 decades later, in 2016, MJ / his estate eventually sold that 50% stake to Sony for $750 million. So that $47.5 million invested, mixed with some additional business dealings, became over $750 million over the course of 3 decades.